In the quiet study, a voice rings out. Your engagement to Grand Duke Vandrova has been decided. The man lowers his voice, heavy with implication. I trust you understand what this means. He emphasizes the name of his own son, Ferda Rosnova. For someone like him, betrothal to the Grand Duke is nothing short of a death sentence for a noble. And it goes without saying that there are only two choices: refuse the engagement and be cast out of the clan, or accept it and be torn to 100 pieces. But I have always wanted to be part of this family. The ragged gasps and heavy footfalls of Ferda Rosnova echoed down the road. He is the frail third son of a knightly family, born of a concubine. Around Ferda Rosnova, whispers and sneers never cease. Looks like the third young master is training again. Others scoff. What's the use? He's been stuck in the same spot for years. It's pathetic how hard he tries when he has not a shred of talent. Though life was full of hardship and no one stood by me, I still endured. I once believed that if I kept striving and gave it my all. Airman Rosnova, from his office above, looks down through the glass and smiles. Ferda Rosnova, exhausted, sees him and always reminds himself to keep going. That one day he would be recognized. One fine day, Hurin Rosnova stands before Ferda Rosnova and says, "Brother, I've heard an interesting rumor. So you've really started training to be a knight? Seems like you're misunderstanding something." He thoroughly beats the boy. From the start, you never had that right. Hurin Rosnova even uses the cruelest words, "with those filthy blue eyes of yours." Sometimes in the training yard, Ferda Rosnova catches the gaze of Airman Rosnova. But the next moment, the man turns away coldly, without hesitation. That leaves a deep wound in him. I once wanted to be acknowledged as family, but their eyes stopped looking at me long ago. Until the day Airman Rosnova presents the engagement contract, Ferda Rosnova decides plainly, I will leave the clan. His father's face is so indifferent that it makes clear how little he matters. Fine. Soon after, Ferda Rosnova is thrown out of the mansion with only a meager bundle of belongings. Before he leaves, Airman Rosnova declares, "From now on, you are no longer a member of the Rosnova family." Ferda Rosnova carries a dark, haunted heart as he turns his back on the main gate. He looks at his calloused, trembling hands and thinks, even though he knows how much I tried. Bitterness is etched deep in Ferda Rosnova's eyes. I will never forgive him. He turns all his love into hate. I will make him regret casting me aside. That day marks a turning point. That day, I became a mage. But things would not be as easy as Ferda Rosnova imagined. Suddenly, a crash of breaking objects rings out. Ferda Rosnova looks at the figure leaning against the wall. You want to become a mage at this age? He knows the reason well. Awakening as a mage at 18 is already far too late compared to other students. The people at the academy keep sneering at Ferda Rosnova. With that thick skull, what can he understand? It'll take him decades just to grasp the basics. But he had once heard a saying, every mage draws power from within. Mana flares around Ferda Rosnova. Even if I don't understand anything, it doesn't matter. The three bullies cower in fear. That mana source. A crimson magic circle appears, and the light of kindness in his eyes has vanished. Because my mana is driven by resignation and a will for revenge. The orb in Ferda Rosnova's hand is released and explodes. He walks away, leaving the miserable lot behind. The more I resent, the stronger I become. Accumulating hatred to reach the realm of the Sixth Circle Grand Mage. That is where I return. To my home, the Rosnova clan. I made the servants who once insulted me slaughter each other. They screamed for mercy, please spare me. But I showed none. I made the eldest and second sons despise each other, and destroyed them both at once. And finally, the father I had the deepest grudge against. I compelled Airman Rosnova to say it himself. Kill me. Tears streamed down his face as his eyes rolled back. Just kill me, please. Yet Ferda Rosnova cannot forgive so easily. Father, look closely. Isn't this the proud Rosnova clan you built? Witnessing hell laid bare before him, he completely crumbles. And so, everything related to the Rosnova family was erased. Ferda Rosnova gazes out the window. The noisy night has ended. But a burning longing still smolders in his eyes. Not enough. My hatred and rage have never subsided. They spread across the entire continent. In response, countless strong men draw their swords. Hundreds of accusations rain down on Ferda Rosnova. Slaughtering an entire clan isn't enough. You kill countless lives and still spout sophistry? Ferda, criminal of the continent, I will personally judge you. Facing dozens of powerhouses, I survived once again and reached the highest realm a human can attain, the Eighth Circle. I had become a grand mage, and they still resented me. They would seek revenge at any moment, just as I had done. So I had to become even stronger, strong enough to crush anyone. Demigod, the realm of a demigod. The Ninth Circle, I need overwhelming power. Ferda Rosnova flips through pages and mutters to himself. The ultimate material needed to reach the Ninth Circle is. He stabs the dagger hard into Vandrova's portrait. Is this fate's joke? The core material to advance to demigod belongs to the Blood Dragon. Grand Duke Vandrova, I need her heart. And that fateful night came. Fate is indeed too cruel. Heavy, thick blood drips to the ground. Vandrova speaks with difficulty despite her grave injuries. I never expected the one who should have been my fiancé. She emphasizes every word as she faces Ferda Rosnova, that my fiancé would come to kill me. Suddenly he coughs a few times, blood sputtering from his mouth. You can barely hold yourself together. It's best you die by my hand, Tyrant Vrova. Her breathing sounds like a sigh. I know they call me a tyrant, but why? I have never appeared even once. Even before you were born, I stayed here, away from the human world. What grudge makes you seethe with such killing intent? Her words touch a wound he refuses to remember. You did nothing? Ferda Rosnova, without thinking, blames Vandrova entirely. You are the cause of my misery. Because of your pointless greed in seeking a fiancé, you got me cast out of my own clan. She is quite surprised by that reasoning. It's my fault? Ferda Rosnova blindly shouts, yes. The greed of a wicked dragon wanting a human as mate. That greed pushed me into tragedy. Do you understand? Hearing this, Vandrova trembles and steps closer. Is that so? Ferda Rosnova grinds his teeth, his eyes wary. What just happened? His confusion is quickly swept aside, but it doesn't matter anymore. Thanks to you, I bought time to gather mana. I just need to land this finishing blow, but Vandrova cuts him off completely. Now I understand. She raises her enormous claws toward Ferda Rosnova. He quickly opens a spell circle as a shield. And then that strike comes, accompanied by Vandrova's scream. Ferda Rosnova is stunned as dark red fluid splatters onto his cheek. She is carving a line across her own chest with her claws. He can't understand. Did she just harm herself? Why? Vandrova's hoarse voice comes. You said your magic needs a dragon's heart, right? A thought flashes through Ferda Rosnova's mind. She's trying to destroy it. He can't help but roar to stop her. Stop it. Ferda Rosnova is truly anxious. That heart is my only chance to reach the Ninth Circle. He uses magic to block Vandrova's motion. I won't let you destroy it. The magic sphere flies straight toward her head. Then it explodes, accompanied by Ferda Rosnova's curse. You damned dragon. Vandrova is wounded and spits out another mouthful of blood. But that doesn't stop her claws from digging deeper into her chest. No. Ferda Rosnova panics as she falls. You madwoman, the heart. What about the heart? He falters for a moment as a golden gleam flashes and hits Ferda Rosnova's eyes. There it is, a huge, intact heart. A voice says, take it. Ferda Rosnova freezes, flooded with questions. Why? He blurts out an accusation. I don't understand, Vandrova. Why would you go this far? If this was a death match, you could have easily handled someone like me. She tremblingly offers her heart to him. I know. It's just because you became unhappy because of me. Ferda Rosnova's vision blurs immediately. What? Vandrova's story begins to unfold. For a long time, I have always hated myself. I hate the cruel blood that flows through these veins. The urge to go mad and destroy everything for no reason. I can't stop myself. Her eyes widen, and tears stream down her face. A flash of magic light pulls the scene back to ancient times. My existence spreads terror to everyone. And if I die, it will all be settled. But I wished for happiness while alive. That foolish dream of mine has caused so much trouble. Now Vandrova's eyelids grow heavy and begin to close. She speaks her heart. Because I made everyone suffer. I hope that at least through me you find happiness. That is the last thing I can do for you. After those words, Vandrova can no longer move. Ferda Rosnova stares in disbelief at what just happened. He unconsciously grabs his own chest. What is this feeling? For a moment, Ferda Rosnova's face twists in agony. Why is my heart so uneasy? He shuts his eyes, tormenting himself. Vandrova, even at the last moment you try to unsettle me. I can't let her words sway me. Think about why I came here. The ninth circle is right in front of me. The essence of a dragon that has lived for millennia. If I absorb this, it will be like the final drop filling the cup. I will surpass human limits. The terrible power flows through his veins, and he is reborn as a demigod. Suddenly, the surroundings grow eerily silent. For some reason, he falls into a pitch-black space. What's happening? I clearly took the dragon's heart. But why does it feel like I'm sinking into an endless bog? Is this a side effect of swallowing the heart? While floating in that world, Ferda Rosnova senses something. Wait, this immense flood of emotions. Is it Vandrova's? Vandrova's tears fall, carrying a powerful surge of mana. It forces Ferda Rosnova, the one who absorbed the dragon heart, to feel the same. He collapses to his knees, utterly drained. Ferda Rosnova's pupils widen, frozen. At last I see it. A profound despair, ancient and far beyond my own. Yet it is a beautiful loneliness that tried to embrace the world until the very last moment. My anger and resentment that ended that life now seems so petty and trivial. What have I done? Ferda Rosnova stands before his younger self and wonders, what was it I truly longed for? To become a grand mage? To take revenge? To ascend to demigod? After much confusion, he recalls his original purpose. No, I just wanted a normal family. Since childhood, Ferda Rosnova had always wished for that, to live a peaceful life. He gazes at his own innocent smile from back then, and then at the lonely figure of Vandrova by the window. Did she share the same wish? Now, Ferda Rosnova truly sees everything. It all seems meaningless. She died by my hand. What meaning is left in anything now? Tears of guilt spill from his eyes. The one and only spell a ninth circle mage can unleash. Wish, just as that hope, his ninth circle opened, but it means nothing. Suddenly a voice calls out beside him. Ferda Rosnova opens his eyes and startles. Where am I? Airman Rosnova frowns with visible displeasure. Ferda, you brat. How dare you lose focus while your father is speaking? He flinches at the man before him. Airman Rosnova, who is certain he will become a cripple and die. Could this day be the exact replay of what is etched in Ferda Rosnova's memory? Your engagement to Grand Duke Vandrova has been decided. Ferda Rosnova's face darkens at the next words. I trust you understand what this means. And Airman Rosnova gives him two choices again. If you refuse the engagement, the clan will. Ferda Rosnova smiles and walks step by step toward him. I have really come back. Then he pounds his chest and declares, I understand. This time, I will not run away. Ferda Rosnova affirms seriously about the engagement with Grand Duke Vandrova. I formally accept it. News of Ferda Rosnova accepting the engagement spreads everywhere. That bastard actually agreed to marry Grand Duke Vandrova? This is the second young master Hurin Rosnova. He keeps interrogating his servant. Did I hear wrong? He can cling to life pathetically, but he's not the type to walk into death without fear. So what is that bastard doing now? The man bows respectfully. He hasn't left yet, but he dismissed the servants and is locked in his room. Hurin Rosnova smiles maliciously. He rubs his chin as if scheming. Then there is still time for a little brotherly chat. Shall we go see what his pitiful face looks like? Moments later, a knock comes from outside the door. Hurin Rosnova barges in without waiting for permission. Ferda, you fool. Why haven't you left yet? What are you still doing here? His grin abruptly fades at the scene before him. Right now Ferda is preparing his own attire. I expected him to cry and make a fuss about not going. But he's preparing himself? Ferda Rosnova coolly reminds him. Is it proper to barge in without knocking, brother? If you're wondering about the servants, I ordered them to leave. Hurin Rosnova points at him in disbelief. You dressed yourself? Ignoring that, Ferda adds. From now on I won't be served, so I need to get used to it gradually. Suspicion grows in Hurin's mind. Is this Ferda really the Ferda I know? Still, he sneers. I hear your engagement is sealed. Do you understand what that means? Ferda Rosnova remains nonchalant. Yes, it's an order of expulsion from the clan, isn't it? Hurin Rosnova's smile freezes and twists. Huh? No, I mean that engagement will destroy you. Do you know why the position of Grand Duke Vandrova's fiancé has been vacant for so long? Ferda lowers his head and answers softly, I know all too well. The first fiancé of Vandrova was the Empire's third prince. A perfect man with extraordinary wisdom, outstanding looks, and popular support, who renounced the future throne in exchange for the title of the Wicked Dragon's fiancé. One day, after he set out for the betrothal, things did not end well. Because he was beaten to death. Hurin Rosnova points at Ferda Rosnova. And you think you can succeed where even the third prince could not. He waves his hand dismissively. But then again, who would stop a fool from willingly offering himself to be devoured by a dragon? Don't even think of defying the clan and fleeing. If you do, Vandrova won't get the chance. I'll personally cut off your head. Facing the loud-mouthed Hurin Rosnova, Ferda finds it easy to handle. Brother, you should worry about controlling yourself. Everyone knows the lustful look in your eyes whenever you see our sister-in-law. He is exposed and turns red with shame. What? Hurin Rosnova even wants to spar with him. You bastard. But Ferda remains indifferent. Even if you want to fight me, please restrain yourself. Unlike when I was little, if my face gets scratched now, it will cause trouble. The road to the dragon's lair is long, so I must depart. Soon after, luggage and a carriage wait outside. The butler cannot hold back his emotions and sniffles. He does not forget to bid Ferda Rosnova farewell. It has been an honor to serve you all this time, young master. But Ferda answers with a disgusted look, all empty words. If you truly felt that, you wouldn't have tampered with my food before. Since childhood, I always thought I was often sick simply because I was weak. Only later did I realize even the servants never stood by me. Thinking back on those days, they disgust me so much that I want to kill them all. But living a second life, Ferda Rosnova will not do that. You have worked hard all this time. He only scares him with a few words. Taking care of someone like me for so long. The butler's tears flow inward. What? Before leaving, Ferda Rosnova does not forget to say, take good care of the Rosnova clan when I am gone. Sitting in the carriage, he is still somewhat troubled. Maybe it's because I have already taken revenge? Right now my heart is very peaceful. Ferda Rosnova's gaze is filled only with the brilliant summer sunlight. Anger, the thirst for revenge, I no longer feel those things. He recalls his former self. The magic I used was like a drug. At first it was intoxicating, but as my mana threshold rose, it became impossible to control. A drug, when I was lost in madness. Everything felt thrilling and exciting. Until Vandrova gave Ferda Rosnova her own heart. Thinking of that, regret fills his eyes. Ferda Rosnova leans back in his seat and tells himself, but now I don't want to become like that anymore. This long-lost peace is not so bad. Does that mean I will never awaken as a mage again? Just then, the coachman says, young master, we have arrived. A sign is posted right before the road. Beyond this marker lies the Grand Duke's domain. Unauthorized entry is strictly forbidden. Ferda Rosnova sits outside waiting, accompanied by the sound of cicadas. He watches the carriage and mutters, that damned coachman. As soon as I mentioned a dragon might appear, he got scared and ran off. Still, he said, please take care, young master. Ferda Rosnova rests his chin and ponders for a while. At least now no one is watching me. But if a wild beast appears, to survive I really should learn magic again. Just a little. Maybe around the fourth circle would be enough. Suddenly he notices a rustling sound nearby. Inside the bushes is an unusual lady. She has arrived. La lifts her skirt slightly in a curtsy. Greetings, sir. I am La, attendant to Grand Duke Vandrova. Before we enter, I need to confirm. Are you Ferda Rosnova? He nods. Yes, that's me. La gestures toward the path. I will escort you to the castle. This way, please. Nothing is unconquerable for the Empire. The people of the Ain Empire have been enchanted by imperial power, but in truth that power is far from perfect. The eastern edge of the continent is called the Land of Demons, teeming with monsters, a calamity humans never dare hope to subjugate. And the one who stopped the monsters' advance and rules the front lines is none other than the Blood Dragon, Vandrova. Ferda Rosnova carries his luggage and looks around. Even though she built the only defensive line here, they still call her the Wicked Dragon? With what she has achieved, her reputation is ridiculously slandered. They do not hesitate to accuse her of secretly raising a monster army, yet when standing before a dragon, they dare not utter a word. Suddenly something streaks past Ferda Rosnova, nearly killing him. La turns back and reassures him. No need to worry. As long as you walk beside me, those creatures won't dare attack recklessly. He is quite surprised by her authority. Thank you. Ferda Rosnova suddenly asks, how much farther do we have to walk? She quickly replies, about 2 hours. This makes him uneasy. Then how did you get to me? La's expression remains gloomy. If I go alone, it takes only 10 seconds to fly. Hearing that, Ferda Rosnova does not ask further. She is clearly no ordinary attendant. A descendant of dragon blood, a half-dragon, with innate physical strength and magic, even hiding her horns and tail. She is a high-rank half-dragon, on an entirely different level from common half-dragons. The wooden staff trembles as it sticks into the ground. In that case, Ferda Rosnova carries his luggage and walks until he is bone-dry. Why don't we fly straight to the lair this time? She carefully describes. If I did that, I would have to carry you in my arms. Are you sure, sir? He shakes his head and explains, don't worry about me. I can endure flying. Le shows disgust. No, I simply don't want to. Hearing that, Ferda Rosnova is left speechless for a few seconds. He forces a smile and keeps dragging himself forward. Since you don't want to, there's no help for it. Since we've walked a long way, how about a short rest? Le coldly refuses. Let's hurry, my master is waiting. He doesn't know what to do, probably low blood sugar. Watching the setting sun, Ferda Rosnova understands a man's hardship. Getting married is not easy. After a long while, Le finally returns to the dragon's lair. She knocks and announces, my lord, your fiancé has arrived. Ferda Rosnova looks at his trembling hands. I can sense something on the other side of this door. How intense is the pressure from a dragon's mere presence? Le sees him about to follow and blocks him. I will relay your message. Do not recklessly enter. You will hear her words through me. But Ferda dislikes that. Can I speak directly with her? She gives him a threatening glare. Do you truly think someone like you deserves to stand before her? Understanding people well, he stops pressing. Fine, then you go ahead. After a moment, Le returns with a radiant face. I shall convey Grand Duke Vandrova's message. O you who have come to betroth me under the Ain Empire's orders, I commend your courage to arrive here despite knowing my sins. However, I have no intention of being forced into an engagement. Go back to where you came from. Ferda Rosnova is a little disappointed. I came all this way as her fiancé, and she sends me away? If I were my old self, I would agree immediately. But the me of now is different. Ferda Rosnova bows politely. This union began with a command, but I stand here of my own will. His next words astonish La. I have no intention of returning. I wish to proceed with the engagement. She shows extreme wariness toward him. Please relay that. La says she understands. A moment later, she returns with a bag full of gold coins. La conveys Vandrova's message. I value the will that brought you here, of your own accord. If returning would put you in a difficult position, I will bestow wealth upon you. So leave this place and build a new home for yourself. Ferda Rosnova remains steadfast. I care nothing for power or wealth. He raises his hand and says softly, I only care about marrying you, Grand Duke Vandrova. La watches from a distance and feels a chill. What a spectacle. She takes a deep breath, her hands clenched into fists, then punches the wall behind her directly. La bluntly orders him to leave. I will waste no more breath. Get out of here immediately. Ferda Rosnova coldly replies, for a message from the Grand Duke. That seems a bit curt. La furrows her brow. No, I say this by my own will as my master's attendant. Her claws begin to show, and her dragon horns appear shortly after. La has reverted to her true high-rank half-dragon form. Ferda Rosnova tries to shield himself from her aura, dragon fear. La's voice echoes, I know very well what you humans are. A bunch of worms who disrespect Lady Vandrova, thinking only of power and ambition. Ferda Rosnova suddenly realizes, so that is why the third prince met his end. She admits without concealment, yes. His mind was filled only with thoughts of establishing a marriage contract and using Lady Vandrova for his own purposes. I don't understand how he believed it wouldn't be discovered. He was utterly shameless. He feels a bit of agreement. He was indeed too arrogant. Yet those words earn him no sympathy from love. In my eyes, you are no different. How dare you deceive my master? Do you want to die like the third prince? Unexpectedly, Ferda Rosnova, though knocked down, still smiles with certainty. His next words surprise La even more. I, Ferda Rosnova, swear here, without a single lie. I am not here because anyone forced me, nor am I here seeking any gain. Just as in her last moment, she gave her heart to a selfish wretch like me. This time, I will become her ally. I come as the man who will become Vandrova's husband. Ferda Rosnova does not flinch at La's aura, because we are destined to be husband and wife. Tell her that from now on we should speak directly, not through an attendant. She cannot contain her anger. You insolent bastard. How dare you utter such arrogant words? Suddenly La stops, just before her claws touch his neck. She quickly pulls back and becomes courteous. Please excuse me for a moment. Ferda Rosnova scratches his head and agrees. All right. Shortly after, she enters the room to relay his words. I come as the man who will become Vandrova's husband. After speaking, La immediately kneels. That is what he said, my lord. Vandrova patiently listens to the following words. The greatest among the 12 rulers, my mistress, the embodiment of absolute power. She transforms into human form. Is that truly so? Vandrova is deeply moved by Ferda Rosnova's words. I never expected him to go that far. Now I am curious about what kind of man he is. She is the Blood Dragon Grand Duke Vandrova. Unable to hide her curiosity. When you met him, how did he look? La recalls the figure on the path. A completely frail human. It seemed just walking to the castle could have killed him. She pauses briefly, and he is very ugly. Let me deal with him immediately. Vandrova softly reminds her. La. She flinches and corrects herself. I'm sorry. Actually, his face is rather handsome, the kind that probably makes many women weep. She shakes her head. No, that is not what I asked, is it? Hearing that, La can no longer deflect. Finally, she sighs and tells the truth. He is very different. I am a half-dragon. Intimidating humans is extremely easy for me. But that man did not show the slightest fear when I released my aura. So I believe he will be able to look you in the eye, my lady. As soon as she finishes, Vandrova's laughter rings out. La's eyes narrow and look ahead. How fortunate. Her words carry a hint of mockery. A human who can withstand my gaze. In Vandrova's heart, a thought passes. Perhaps I can face him normally. Hearing that, La stammers in disbelief. Normally, you say? Yet Vandrova firmly affirms. Yes, normally. After a moment, La returns outside and conveys to Ferda Rosnova. My lady has decided to proceed with the engagement. She still does not allow him inside. I will take you to the guest room. This way. The room inside is quite elegantly arranged, better maintained than I expected. Ferda Rosnova looks around and comments. It's very tidy. Who manages this place? La answers curtly, I do. He asks idly. Just you, no one else? She grows somewhat annoyed. I am my master's only attendant, honored guest. Ferda Rosnova is curious about that address. Honored guest? Not fiancé. La sighs and reminds him. You haven't even held the wedding ceremony yet, have you? Until then, you are simply a guest, number one. And she does not hide her dislike. I hate humans. He thinks to himself, she's like a guard dog. Ferda Rosnova quickly gets to the point. So when will the betrothal ceremony be held? La answers on behalf. The ceremony will take place in 1 month. My lady, I, and you, honored guest, it will be held quietly inside the dragon's lair. Ferda Rosnova smiles with satisfaction. I understand. Then 1 month should be enough. That look makes La feel uneasy. She quickly drops the expression and snaps. Who said the engagement would be handed to you easily? This is also your deadline to prove your worth. Ferda Rosnova tilts his head, confused. A deadline, La proudly declares. The partner of a great existence must hold a status worthy of that role. From now, you have 1 month. Please prove that you are qualified to be her fiancé. He begins to feel tired. Even getting married isn't easy. Suddenly, Ferda Rosnova remembers a question. Is that your master's wish? La naturally puffs her chest. No, it is my opinion. He feels a bit helpless at her protectiveness. An attendant decides such matters on her own? La begins to lecture at length. My lady is soft-hearted. She might let this pass, but I cannot. Show that even with that frail body, you possess potential. If you cannot even do this, then no matter what you are called, you will never be recognized as the Grand Duke's husband. Ferda Rosnova hears this and hesitates for a moment. He looks down at La. My future wife has kept a good person by her side. Even if she hates me, she puts her mistress first and accurately points out what a husband needs. A servant so loyal. Why was she nowhere to be seen at the very end? Pushing the past aside for now, Ferda Rosnova says, All right, I will show you my abilities. What level do I need to reach? Do I have to become the Empire's emperor? La firmly repeats, No, just enough that other great beings cannot look down on you. A condition few can fulfill, easy for you to say. You're asking me to show potential convincing enough to surpass even an emperor. But to marry Vandrova, he accepts every condition. Fine, I understand. This confuses La. Why are you so relaxed? Do you find dragons that easy? Or are you just a fool? Ferda Rosnova patiently explains, Neither. Don't worry, within 1 month I will show you enough ability to convince you. Facing such an unusual man, she thinks, where does that confidence come from? And so night gradually falls, the moon illuminating the area. Ferda Rosnova is alone in his room with a tangle of thoughts. Prove my potential. Right now I have no ability at all. However, mages are highly valued on this continent, and among them I have the experience of reaching the ninth circle. That is an experience only I possess. If the sensations from before remain, this is entirely possible. For a mage, the first circle is the most important. It is the crossroads that determines the nature of one's mana channels. The blue magic circle is created through calm meditation, slow but stable, the path most mages choose. On the other hand, the red magic circle is born from intense emotions, allowing one to grow powerful quickly, but in exchange they are consumed by those emotions and easily become mad. In the past, I became a grand mage solely through resentment. Ferda Rosnova remembers his past self. If I walk the same path, I will grow even faster. But he is now a different person, so the choice he makes must be carefully weighed. This time I will choose a different path, steadily, so I will not waver. Time passes, a week has gone by. At Ferda Rosnova's dwelling, he continues to diligently practice magic through meditation. At first, Ferda Rosnova could only gather a small energy sphere in his palm. It cost him a great deal of effort, and he failed again. The time needed to create a blue magic circle is at least 3 years. It truly takes a long time. But with the senses from before reincarnation, I thought I would manage quickly. It definitely feels different from the red circle. Only 3 weeks remain. At this rate, outside, La brings him lunch. Are you preparing? Ferda Rosnova admits without hiding, yes. She utters a pitying remark, but it seems nothing has changed. Still, his will does not falter. If I persist, it will succeed. Though he says that, Ferda Rosnova knows well. But indeed, I have made no progress. I need another method. Suddenly an earthquake shakes him slightly. Ferda Rosnova looks out the window. What is this movement? La calmly answers, My lady is currently hunting monsters. This catches Ferda Rosnova's attention. Hunting monsters? She adds, She is personally sweeping away the monsters emerging from the land of demons at the far east. Instinctively, he pauses, Vandrova. Then Ferda Rosnova gets an idea and proposes, I want to witness that battle myself. Nonetheless, La tries to dissuade him. It's better if you don't go. He asks why. Her reason, because the human mind cannot endure such a sight. Unless you want to wet yourself in shame before the ceremony, best not watch. Despite the threat, Ferda Rosnova insists, no. This is the responsibility of someone who will be her partner. I want to see that battle with my own eyes. A streak of blue light flashes across the clear sky. It turns out La is carrying Ferda Rosnova to the area. She sets him down and announces, We have arrived. The high-speed flight probably exceeded Ferda Rosnova's endurance. The speed is truly astonishing, almost like teleportation. I feel sick. Seeing his dark look, La quickly explains, I'm not what you need to look at. She adds, Stand up and look ahead. Following her words, he turns his gaze in the opposite direction. Below the edge, a thick, unpleasant source of mana lingers. Ferda Rosnova's face darkens with concern. What catches his eye is a chaotic horde of monsters. Is that where Vandrova is fighting? At the center of the battle, a strange golden light shines. Immediately after, flames burst powerfully from the center. The other monsters all seem eager to face Vandrova. She uses her claws to seize their bodies. Vandrova does not hesitate to tear their bodies in half. She even gathers an orb in her throat, then directly unleashes fire breath, sweeping everything. La watches the scene, apparently used to it, followed by Vandrova's earth-shaking roar. She emits a powerful high-frequency sound. It hits Ferda Rosnova, making him shudder. Ferda Rosnova cannot endure and collapses to his knees. Indeed, it possesses such immense power. Dragon roar. La's voice rings out again. Now you understand? How ridiculous for a human to dare mate with a dragon. This is the true face of the one who is to be your partner. La notices Ferda Rosnova's trembling hands and begins to reassess him inside. So he is trembling. That's why I warned him. La adds, in the blood of a blood dragon lurks what humans call the nature of the wicked dragon. A life of destruction, nurtured by savage killing instincts. She turns seriously to Ferda Rosnova. That is innate. No matter what kind of person you are, your fragile back will be broken every day. Determination alone is not enough. Now do you understand what it means to be a dragon's partner? In her eyes, there is only one truth. Humans and dragons can never unite. At this rate, even my mistress should soon realize that her dream of being with a human will come to nothing. Ferda Rosnova takes a deep breath, the corners of his mouth curving upward. Contrary to La's expectations, his eyes show great admiration. That was truly magnificent. Unbelievable. He's smiling? He is admiring it instead of being terrified, even after witnessing all of that. What? This makes La feel disgusted, a bloodthirsty maniac. After that display, La takes him back to the mansion. He lies sprawled on the bed, face smeared. I was mentally prepared, but my whole body is still wrecked. Not just dragon fear, but also dragon roar. La, despite her disgust, is the one who brings Ferda Rosnova back. Putting everything aside for now, he thinks to himself, it's a miracle my mind is still intact. At this rate, I'm far from opening a single circle. I'll waste a day. Ferda Rosnova asks himself again, why did I want to watch that battle in the first place? He quickly sits up and reminds himself, if I reflect on what I saw today. Suddenly a chill runs down Ferda Rosnova's spine. Remembering Vandrova, he cannot help but be stunned. It was truly terrifying, but it made me unable to look away. Hiding her true nature at the far eastern edge of the continent, and all those acts of destroying monsters. Isolating herself from the crowd, all simply to protect what she loved. Walking the path of a noble, self-chosen martyr. At that moment, Ferda Rosnova feels only one thought, truly magnificent. He takes a deep breath and imagines a future with her. But suddenly a sensation in his chest stops him. Wait, this feeling, it's the red circle. This is not the kind of mana I need. I cannot repeat what happened in the past. I must resist it. And then a drop of blood falls. The image of Vandrova in crimson armor appears in his mind. What is this? The more he recalls her battle, the clearer his mana channels become, an emotion that is neither anger nor vengeance. Ferda Rosnova half closes his eyes to concentrate and understand himself. What is this emotion called? It's so vague that it feels like it could vanish at any moment if I don't seize it right now. Focus on this feeling, compress it, and spin it rapidly. A brilliant light forms in his palm to create a single circle, and then the red magic circle truly takes shape. However, in his current state, Ferda Rosnova decides this time will be different. I will not let the mistakes I made repeat themselves. News of this quickly reaches La. He actually opened his mana channels? In just one night? Though exposed, he is not too surprised. You noticed, huh? Your eyes don't miss a thing. She sighs. You could barely stand yesterday. How did you do it? Normally, opening them overnight is impossible. Ferda Rosnova takes another bite of meat. I did it because I am not an ordinary person. La is at a loss. Then why not ask more? So now what do you think? She looks him over and judges. All right, you've met the basic standard. Even so, Ferda Rosnova knows he still has a long way to go. After the meal, he asks La for help. Is there a place nearby where I can practice magic? Soon after, wooden training dummies are set up. The broom sweeps lightly across the ground, scattering dust. La introduces the training area to Ferda Rosnova. I have created a practice ground as you requested. He claps in admiration. Truly Vandrova's one-of-a-kind attendant. She built a fully equipped training ground in half a day, all by herself. Amazing. Before Ferda Rosnova begins, La has one more question. However, I'm curious. You didn't ask for expensive magic tools, only targets. What exactly do you plan to practice? He is truly taking it step by step. I want to practice controlling mana more effectively. If I can't control mana, I'm just wasting it uselessly. This puzzles her. Why would you think that? Ferda Rosnova quickly realizes a problem. Isn't that the way for dragons? La honestly shakes her head. No, it sounds like you're saying you need to learn how to breathe. If other half-dragons heard that, they'd call it primitive. Ferda Rosnova turns the question back. So in your eyes, my actions are also primitive? She nods in confirmation. I am a half-dragon too. Hearing that, he says no more and thinks to himself. How can those born with innate talent ever understand human effort? Seeing Ferda Rosnova start to leave, Lo offers, can I watch you train? He doesn't refuse. Of course, if you want to watch some breathing exercises. Ferda Rosnova chooses to stop in the middle of the training ground. He half closes his eyes and adjusts his natural breathing rhythm. The foundation of mana control is stability. That's the method of the blue circle. But my circle is red. I must stimulate my emotions while still controlling them. Only when I overcome that contradiction will the power truly open a path. It used to take a year to draw mana from the turbulent flow, and another year to condense it into an orb, recreating the mana bullets his past self shed blood, sweat, and effort to create. That theory applied only to his previous life. Now it takes just 2 minutes. Seeing the small orb on Ferda Rosnova's fingertip, Lo is somewhat surprised. A mana sphere without even breaking a sweat. He controlled mana successfully on his first practice, and immediately after, he creates 3 more orbs. Ferda Rosnova gently moves his hand, making them rotate in a circle, then fires each orb directly into the prepared dummies. Launch with maximum force, mana bullets. The first attempt excites Ferda Rosnova a little. Indeed, it didn't kill me. His rapid progress makes La quite suspicious. She quickly reports everything to Vandrova. That is my full report on Lord Ferda. She folds her arms and nods. I see. Well done, La. He awakened as a mage not long after arriving here. But I'm not sure how remarkable that is. You know the outside world better, so you must know. La, in your eyes, what kind of man is he? Though she dislikes Ferda Rosnova, La is honest. From the very first step, he was flawless. Not a single mistake. That is exactly what makes him suspicious and dangerous. Vandrova finds that puzzling. Why is that? She asserts seriously, because it is impossible for a human to reach that level without making any errors. The other half of her thought she keeps to herself. He is definitely hiding something. For example, that he's a pervert who enjoys being tormented. However, Vandrova views the matter differently. La, for you to acknowledge a human to that extent, the more you speak of him, the more astonishing he seems. La is somewhat deflated. I hate to admit it, but it's true, still. The corners of her mouth curl up slightly. Don't worry. He said he came with pure faith, didn't he? I will try to trust him. Despite that, La remains worried. My lady has been hurt too much by humans. Now that she finally opens her heart, I must make sure it doesn't happen again. If only I could probe that man's true intentions. Suddenly, she widens her eyes as if discovering something. La calmly makes a suggestion. My lady, since we have this opportunity, how about entrusting that matter to him? Vandrova hesitates slightly. What do you mean by that matter? Shortly after, Ferda Rosnova is summoned. Lord Ferda Rosnova, please enter. At the meeting of the Eastern Front Alliance, those present sit around a round table. I never expected the Grand Duke to summon us lords here. One of the men speaks. While we don't even know when the monsters will attack, who would we meet at a time like this? Hearing that, another adds, haven't you heard? They say the Grand Duke's newly chosen fiancé will be coming. Voices of derision rise. A fiancé? Don't tell me there's actually a fool who thinks the engagement order means a real marriage? The bald man across nods. That's right. I hear he's the third young master of the Rosnova family, and only just of age. The room erupts with mockery. An 18-year-old brat acting like a king because he has the Grand Duke backing him? What king? I also hear he's a useless waste who can't even hold a sword. They sneer at Ferda's family. What? He's from Rosnova, the Empire's knightly clan, yet he's worse than a common soldier? Among them, Unveraconalis exudes a dangerous air. It's not even worth our attention to see how long he lasts. He even asserts that the fiancé will soon be torn apart by the Grand Duke anyway. This man is Count Unveraconalis. Others chime in. That's right, exactly. At that moment, the door is announced. Lord Ferda Rosnova has arrived. Today he appears with Vandrova's attendant, La. So this was her proposal. Meet the lords? Do I really have to go right now? Lo invokes Vandrova's authority. It's something you must do eventually. Do you know why my mistress is called Grand Duke Vandrova? Ferda Rosnova puts down his book. Of course. There was once an embodiment of darkness, the source of evil that gave birth to the demon lord, the Black Dragon Godwin. And the one who ended that Black Dragon's life was Vandrova. La nods at his knowledge. Correct. For that achievement, the Empire granted her the title of Grand Duke in these domains. Her most important duty now is hunting monsters. Therefore, as the man who will be her husband, you must manage the territories and lords of the Eastern Front in her stead. Simply put, my mistress handles external affairs, and you handle internal affairs. Ferda Rosnova quickly draws a basic conclusion. So I am to be the rear support? A thought crosses his mind. She has given me a taste of power? It seems she still cannot trust me. After reflection, Ferda Rosnova nods. All right, I will go meet the lords. That is why he is now at the Eastern Front Alliance. Pleasure to meet you all. I am soon to be the husband of Grand Duke Vandrova. Before we begin official discussions, Ferda Rosnova asks a bold question. How would you like me to treat you? This wipes the smiles off their faces. He dominates from the very first greeting. As soon as he speaks, the hierarchy is established. Among them, only Unveraconalis speaks. We are lords residing under the Grand Duke's light. Naturally, we must respect the one who will be her husband. However, we lords gathered here have been loyal to the Empire long before you were born. He deliberately elevates his own status. So shouldn't the husband also show the respect befitting that? Murmurs begin. That's right. Yet Ferda remains calm. Is that your full answer? Should I speak to you with respect or from a superior tone? He emphasizes the last words. Just answer that question. At that moment, Unveraconalis also feels a tremor. Of course, speaking to us from a superior position is entirely reasonable. This pleases Ferda, so that's how it is. That answer is useful. As you know, even after I become the husband, very little will change directly. Your territories remain yours, so continue managing them as you always have, whether you rule benevolently or exploit them. Hearing that, one angry man slams the table. Exploit? Are you saying we are draining our people? Ferda Rosnova clicks his tongue inwardly. Oops, a bit too harsh. He waves his hand to explain. No ill intent, just a slip of the tongue. Unexpectedly, Ferda Rosnova retorts with a venomous remark. I can see why the clan discarded you. Thessalos Vanshare jumps up and points at him. Discarded by your clan. So now you're sniffing around to become a mage? You'd better show some respect to your elders, you first circle fiancé. The only reason you stand here is because of your position. What right do you have to challenge a fourth circle mage like me? In response to that agitation, Ferda Rosnova only says calmly, Fourth circle, that's fairly average. That alone is enough to wound Thessalos. What did you say? A fourth circle mage is treated with respect wherever they go. The mage hierarchy is entirely based on skill. Even if it's average, how dare a first circle wretch insult me? I'll teach him some manners. When the man acts, Ferda is already a step ahead. If that's the case, I have a proposal you might like. As a chance to test the skills of a mere first circle mage, how about a duel between you and me? Everyone quickly gathers at the arena. A duel between a first circle and a fourth circle mage? Those who hear it rush to judge. Isn't the result obvious? One of them is slightly worried for Ferda. If he uses this chance to put him in his place, it'll be easier for us. I wonder if Thessalos will go easy on him. Lo is nearby and hears everything, but does not react. Now Ferda Rosnova and Thessalos Vanshare face each other in the arena. Ferda speaks first. What magic will you use? The man is angered. You expect me to reveal my trump card in a duel? How disrespectful. Speaking of which, you must be scared now. Feel free to give up, right here and right now. A tempest of energy rises around Thessalos Vanshare. I will use fourth circle magic, Mana Burst. This nearly explodes the viewing stand. What? Isn't Mana Burst an extremely destructive spell? If hit, could he survive? Facing such magic, Ferda Rosnova remains composed. I see. Then I'll tell you. The only magic I can use is Mana Bullet. The man sneers at his trump card. Mana Bullet? You think you can defeat me with such a basic spell? Unexpectedly, Ferda Rosnova calmly replies. I don't think I'll lose. In fact, I know quite a lot. These words directly wound Thessalos Vanshare's pride. You insolent brat. He summons a huge magic circle in the air. With this, I will make you vanish without a trace. Ferda Rosnova notices the heavy killing intent. He is deliberately increasing firepower. Seeing him use magic fueled by heightened emotion, he must also possess a red magic circle. He counters with his own Mana Bullet. What a pity. Its red color makes Thessalos Vanshare freeze. What? Ferda Rosnova coldly states his position. The match was decided long ago. As the bullets fly, Thessalos can only grit his teeth and use a magic barrier for defense. He freezes as the bullets swerve past him. By the time he realizes, it is too late. He's not aiming at me. He's aiming at the magic circle before it's completed. The bullets crack the surface of the magic circle. Thessalos Vanshare stares blankly backward. He destroyed the magic circle? An explosion occurs that he cannot control. Is this really the level of a first circle mage? A technique to destroy magic circles. Even I cannot do that. The battle ends swiftly, with Thessalos Vanshare's palms reddened. He kneels helplessly, clutching them, enduring the pain. Thessalos Vanshare's breathing is visibly disrupted. He cannot believe he lost. Ferda Rosnova steps before him. Do you surrender? Thessalos Vanshare's pride is deeply wounded. Tears well up involuntarily. I want to become stronger. In the end, he manages to speak. I surrender. A dark thought arises in his heart. If I can become stronger, I'll do anything. Soon after, the event becomes a topic of discussion. Thessalos, a fourth circle mage lost to a first circle? Even seeing it with my own eyes, I can't believe it. One person casts a glance at La. Could a half-dragon have secretly interfered? She folds her arms and exposes him. If you still can't believe it even after seeing it with your own eyes, you might as well pluck out those useless eyes. On the arena floor, Thessalos Vanshare smiles and shakes Ferda's hand. I never imagined I would meet someone of such outstanding talent. This world is so vast. Ferda graciously explains, your magic was also excellent. If you had attacked a little faster, I might have been in danger. Seeing the strength of the Eastern Front like this reassures me greatly. Thessalos Vanshare laughs heartily. Being acknowledged by you like this. I suppose being transferred away from the capital isn't so bad. It's an honor to meet you. But something catches Ferda Rosnova's attention. You said you were transferred from the capital? What is your name? The man smiles and reintroduces himself. My name is Thessalos Vanshare. Ferda looks up, his attitude slightly different. Thessalos Vanshare. Right? Now I remember. The man startles. You know me? Ferda Rosnova looks at Thessalos Vanshare with murderous eyes. I know you very well. You were once my benefactor. The man freezes for a second. What? When did we ever meet? Then Ferda directly sends a Mana Bullet far away with Thessalos Vanshare. Red blood sprays from the middle of his forehead. All the lords present cannot hide their astonishment. And then Thessalos Vanshare's body goes cold, lying in the arena. Ferda Rosnova mutters to himself. That is why I could not let him live. If I let him live, he would only bring despair to my fiancée. The departure of Thessalos Vanshare leaves everyone rooted in silence. And so, an unprecedented precedent. Ferda had killed a noble. The surrounding lords look at him with fear and disgust. They share the same thought. The duel was over, but he killed him before anyone could stop him. This is clearly the murder of a noble. Yet a bigger question arises. But who will stand against him? Seeing the lord's attitude, Ferda Rosnova turns and challenges them. Why are you all so tense? Is it because of Thessalos? Don't concern yourselves with him. He deserved to die. If anything, letting him live would only trouble the Grand Duke. Unvara Konalis stammers. Trouble the Grand Duke? That Thessalos. He tries to explain. But my lord, this is not the first time you've met us lords. What does Thessalos's death have to do with troubling the Grand Duke? Then Ferda Rosnova, in Vandrova's name, declares, Grand Duke Vandrova wishes for humanity's happiness. A benevolent Grand Duke who fights for humans within a dragon's body. Thessalos acted against her will. Unvara Konalis is momentarily speechless. Not letting him question, Ferda says only that it will happen in a distant future, so it is difficult to explain to you now. Unvara Konalis pales several shades. What? But inside, he is full of criticism. How absurd. He claims he killed a lord for something that hasn't even happened? He's truly mad. Before leaving, Ferda Rosnova does not retract his murderous demeanor. Don't worry, I won't care one bit about what the rest of you do. That afternoon, his carriage speeds through the forest, even hitting a rock at one point. Ferda Rosnova sits inside, clutching his head. His complexion no longer fresh. My head is spinning. He recalls killing Thessalos Vanshare. I never expected to meet Thessalos Vanshare here. Just using mana bullet drained all my mana. Moreover, the carriage's rocking makes him even more carsick. I miss mana-powered cars, though they haven't been invented yet. In contrast to his exhaustion, La's face is bright, truly impressive, dealing with one of my master's most loyal retainers at the first meeting. This will be a major obstacle to the engagement. Ferda seems confused. Loyal retainer? Ferda Rosnova asks seriously. Are you talking about Thessalos? To his surprise, she nods. Yes, believe it or not. He was one of the few lords loyal to the Grand Duke. However, he cannot understand this. This is truly troublesome. Your words are my command. Sir, was he honest? La explains clearly. Moderately honest and moderately corrupt. In this extreme east, that level of mediocrity is considered the best. Other lords are only concerned with filling their own pockets, even when they are on the brink of life and death at the front. He silently curses them. These lords are indeed corrupt officials. He leans against the window frame. Still, the engagement will proceed as planned, because my reason for killing Thessalos is entirely justified. Ferda Rosnova slightly opens his eyes to gauge La's reaction, then glances at the cloth bag beside her. If I remember correctly, Thessalos must still be committing a heinous crime at this very moment. Soon after, Ferda Rosnova arrives at the destination. Welcome to the Vanshare family castle. It is an honor to receive guests from the Grand Duke's castle. Unfortunately, my master is currently away. Before the butler finishes, Ferda informs him. He's dead, so don't worry about it. The butler jolts in shock. Ferda Rosnova wordlessly throws the cloth bag to the butler. Take this. He takes it dazedly. What is this? Before the butler can understand, La carefully instructs. Hang it somewhere clearly visible at the castle. He nods mechanically. Yes, what the hell? But when a lock of Thessalos Vanshare's hair falls out, the butler freezes. Master. His scream echoes throughout the Vanshare castle. Ferda Rosnova is so nonchalant that he walks straight into Thessalos's bedroom. It feels like we're robbing an empty house. La chatters endlessly in his ear. Since you publicly displayed the head of a loyal retainer, you'd better find evidence proving he was a cruel lord. Ferda searches without pause. Even if you say that, didn't you also help? You even personally handled Thessalos's body. She darkens. I'm only considering canceling the engagement. Should I retrieve that head? Ferda ignores her attitude. Found it. There's a secret door under the bed. Ferda Rosnova brushes off the dusty top. There must be a mechanism nearby to open it. She speaks up as he fumbles. Step aside. La clenches her fist and strikes straight. The force is enough to break through Thessalos's bed frame. Ferda Rosnova is exasperated by her roughness. It's open. Let's go in. The deep, dark basement stairs gradually appear. La has to cover her nose because of the pungent odor. With a place like this here, no wonder the stench of blood rises thickly from underground. A secret laboratory filled with grotesquely fused remains of humans and monsters. Blasphemous traces of life and monster research clearly belong to followers of demons, those who crave demonic power and willingly abandon their humanity. And of course, among them, Thessalos Vanshare was a dark summoner. Checking around, She cannot stop exclaiming. This corpse is a soldier from this domain. It seems he grafted a dead soldier's organs with a monster's. Digging deeper, La becomes more furious. This sick madman truly had a death wish. Humans are indeed not trustworthy. If he was a cultist, that crime more than justifies killing a noble. At that point, she suddenly realizes, but how did you know this place was here? Ferda Rosnova cannot hear her because he is dazed. Found it. What he holds is Thessalos's nameless masterpiece, the method of infinite mana cultivation. In his previous life, Thessalos Vanshare had given this to him. Ferda, do you know what this is? Monsters continuously produce mana. But it's murky, low-quality mana that can't be used for anything. But what if we could replicate a monster's mana generation process and continuously filter out pure mana? The man was obsessed with his research. It would become an endless source of magic. If I complete this, I could surpass the limits of the circles. At that time, Ferda Rosnova was very curious. A remarkable achievement. Thessalos, what will you do with that method? However, prodded in the right place, Thessalos Vanshare did not mind explaining. With the immortal monster army I will create, I will crush the nobles who demoted me and sent me to this dragon's domain. With this, soon I can even aim for the level of a grand mage. The secret revealed, he was of no further use. I see. Ferda Rosnova threatens with a sneer. It will be very useful for my revenge. Thanks a lot. Back in the present, that memory feels like yesterday. It has fallen into his hands once more. This nameless cultivation method had helped his past self reach the 8th circle faster than anyone. If I study this, I will be able to reach the 8th circle many times faster. But La beside him cuts off that thought. Seeing you so hungry for something like this, I suppose in the end you are only human. The research is complete and the researcher is dead, so no one will know even if you steal it. This is an opportunity to become stronger that any human would crave. Congratulations. There is a hint of sarcasm in her words. The research is complete and the researcher is dead, so no one will know even if you steal. But Ferda Rosnova interrupts. No. I must not repeat that mistake. Destroy everything in this laboratory. La flips through the research papers, breaking a sweat. Are you serious? You are a mage after all. Aren't you tempted by the knowledge left here? A trace of sorrow appears in Ferda Rosnova's eyes. This research certainly has the potential to overturn the magic world. But what use is that? If I become enchanted by the temptation of this powerful magic and cause trouble for the Grand Duke, I'd rather uproot it all now. After this, his gaze becomes more determined. Then will you burn it? La is silent for a moment before replying. That is not a difficult request for me. Her blue flames begin to consume a corner of the research. And soon the entire room is ablaze. Every spell bears traces of the caster's emotions. And the caster's nature becomes tainted by that magic. Because Thessalos hated the Empire, his magic was also filled with hatred, just as this dark magic consumed him. Thessalos also possessed a red circle, and his resentment and inferiority complex were as intense as my own past self. He shared the same anger and resentment. If I inherit his magic, I would again be eaten by unbearable emotions, so I must discard it. My past self, who forced himself to hate in order to survive. Now Ferda Rosnova can smile in relief. It's really burning fiercely. La, watching his expression, is deeply suspicious, a hard-to-predict madman and a bloodthirsty one at that. He's the kind of human I don't want anywhere near my master. But in the end, she has to accept it. Let's leave this damp place. It would be improper to smell of blood right before your betrothal ceremony with my lady. Hear that? Hearing these words, he finally understands. So the moment of the betrothal has finally arrived.